Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New View podcast. My name is Mac.
And my name is Megan.
Come along with us as we dive into the world of competitive Irish dancing and beyond.
Sharing perspectives, developing community, and learning from each other.
We hope you enjoy.
We are so excited to welcome Garet Zagorski to New View today. Now, Garet has had a great journey in dancing so far, and his talent is truly undeniable, having won pretty much every major there is. Garet knows what it takes to be at the top, and we feel super lucky to be learning from him today. Garet also has something really quite special about his dancing, a deep passion that is evident in his performance as well as simply in the way he carries himself. He's only a teenager, but he has wisdom and talent well beyond his years, and we just can't wait to talk to him today. So, with that, Garet, can you tell us a bit about your journey in dancing, how you got started, and just how you've grown up in the sport so far?
Yes, so I've been dancing for a long time. My mom was my teacher, so I was kind of born into it. And she has photos of me when I was just a toddler in dance classes, so it's been a part of me as long as I can remember. And I started competing. I did my first fesh at the age of 4, and then from there it just picked up, and here we are.
Nice. That's pretty cool. What would you say has been like the highlight so far for you? Like you've still got probably lots of years left, which is awesome, but like up to this point, what's been the highlight of your career so far?
Well, the biggest moment for me was winning the Worlds in Belfast. That was a big moment for me. It was like, wow, I can do this. And another moment was my All Scotland's under 7, and that was the first major I ever won, and that was a very special moment to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to get to like share those successes like with your mom in such a cool way because I know for both of us, our parents are both or have been very invested in our dancing careers and journeys, but not in the sense that there are actual teachers. So that's pretty cool that you kind of work alongside your mom and you're both working towards this, I guess, shared goal and then to realize those moments together, that's pretty amazing. And like what cool memories you're making that you're gonna have to look back on. That's pretty awesome. How would you describe like your passion for dancing? Like, has it sort of stayed the same? Like you said you won U7 and now you're a teenager. So how has your like passion or like love for dancing changed, do you think, from when you were young to where you are now?
Um, so I've always been very passionate with dance. It's always been something I've loved to do. It's not like I'm forced to do it. It's something I love to do. And I'd say like over the years, my passion has stayed the same, but my determination has not improved, but just like gone up, and that's what like keeps me motivated, and I guess the passion does go up too.
Yeah, and I guess as you get older too, you kind of gain the skills, and obviously you're very hardworking and extremely talented. So as you get older and stronger, you continually gain more skills. So it makes sense that like determination kind of grew with that. And I'm curious, when you step on stage like at a competition, how would you say you kind of like express your passion? I know that might be a confusing question, but like for myself, I would get up on stage and I'm like a big smiler. Like I love to smile because I'm having a good time. And for me, that's like how I express my passion. Is there a way you feel like you express it, or does it just like come out of you when you dance?
I would say it kind of just happens, especially on stage. Most of my nerves come when I'm side stage and before, but like once I step on stage, most of the nerves just go away, and I do smile, and I don't know, it just kind of happens. I love it so much, and yeah.
I think that's the best when it's just authentic and you're just like, oh no, I love what I'm doing, so I'm just naturally gonna perform and smile. And I think that's nice to hear. Like, you have, I mean, it's not nice they've got these nerve side stage, I guess, but that's kind of part of it. But then when you get on stage, like that's where you're kind of at home, that's where you're comfortable and you're able to let those nerves go. I mean, I guess to just double click on the nerve side of things, have you developed sort of strategies for dealing with those nerves? Like you've been at such a high level from such a young age that I'm just curious what that's like for you. Like, is it just like being at these big competitions is kind of just no big deal, or do you feel like there's a big sense of pressure and like how do you deal with that?
Um, well, I would say that I love talking to my dad. He was a Navy SEAL and he always is very good with calming me down. And that's one of my favorite things. And I always focus on what I can control. And I just don't really worry about what the judges think. I just step on stage and do the best that I possibly can.
I think that's really impressive because we're both older than you, and I
Yeah.
can say for sure that like I'm not as good at doing that as you clearly have expressed that you are. So I think that's really powerful that you're simply a teenager and have figured that out and have those skills. That's really great. And obviously you've learned so much in dancing from the time you started until now, and that's helped to shape your life, I'm sure. Is there one thing that stands out as like, wow, I'm so glad Irish dancing has taught me this? Like, has it helped you with your work ethic or confidence or all of those things or something else?
That's a very good question. I would say yes to all of them, but it's really like shaped me as a person, like the stuff I've seen and the places I've gone. And I would say a big turnaround moment for me was after Glasgow Worlds, and I really like changed a lot of how I approach dance. Like I worked harder. I was more like invested into it than I was before. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so it's taught you how to really grow and continue working hard. And because as you've gotten older, you have to change and adapt. And it just sounds like it's been the perfect like training ground for you to do that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
quite cool.
I think that's really cool. And just, I guess, I don't know, Garrett, you can explain this to us all a little bit more, but I'm just kind of an observer and I know your story a little bit. It's like, okay, you were born into this thing and you obviously have natural talent for it. You've got great resources to help you get there, but like you're a kid and you're just kind of going through the process and enjoying it. And then at a certain point, I don't want to say like it becomes a job, like that's not it, but there is an aspect of you realize like, oh, there's a certain sort of equation or like an input that equals an output when it comes to like the work that you're putting in. Whereas when you're a little kid, you're kind of just like, I like show up to dance class and I go to these competitions and I have a good time and whatever. And then there's kind of a moment where you realize like the work that I put in is going to translate to some sort of outcome. Would you say that's kind of what it was like in Glasgow? Just having that sort of connecting those dots.
Yes, so like it's not like I'm being forced to work hard for one.
Yeah.
It's like something I want to do.
Mhm,
Like
absolutely.
and after Glasgow, well, in Belfast Worlds, that was my first Worlds that I won, and then Montreal, my mom judged, so I couldn't
Mm.
go to that one. In Glasgow, I got second. So, of course, second is amazing, but after winning, it can be a bit of a low.
Mhm.
So I really changed how I approach things, and like I noticed my dancing changed a lot between 2024 Worlds and 2024 Nationals. That was a big moment in my career that like very shaped me a lot. Um, yeah. So
Would you say that's because you had like a shift in your mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna like grow and change and do this and change my approach and all of that? Or would you say it was like purely physical or a combination? I don't know.
I would say a combination, but I don't really know. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
I
it's
just
a good
mean, it's
question.
something you keep exploring too, I think, in dance
Totally.
as you get older. It's not that's okay to not have all the answers, right?
What do you do? I'm curious, like in the process, because I'm sure it's true for for you too, like in the lead up to a major. Do you ever feel like burnt out or a lack of motivation or just like particularly nervous and stressed about it? And like if you do, what kinds of things like help you with that?
Um, I wouldn't like I don't really get bored with it or like I don't really get sick of it, but there are certain moments that I do and like it's good to take breaks and I always take a break after the Worlds and after the Nationals. And I think that's helped me and I've had lots of injuries and I
Mm.
think with those like they're obviously not enjoyable, but having that almost break wants you to come back stronger and I think that has helped me a lot.
Yeah, it like
Totally.
keeps your passion kind of alive. And I think that's smart too. I've heard from other dancers that we've talked to that they kind of integrate those scheduled breaks into, after the Worlds and after the Nationals. And I can say, as someone who's older now, I never did that. And I definitely found myself then feeling like totally exhausted or a little bit burnt out or craving a break because I wasn't scheduling that in. But
Hmm.
because you're being quite smart about it, it makes sense that you have such like everlasting passion for it.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting to think about, like, when you do a workout or whatever, and then there's sometimes parts in it are like the active recovery aspect. So, like, you're not just straight up doing nothing, but it's sort of like you're working out a different muscle group, or like maybe you're still moving, but it's lighter or whatever. I kind of like applying that concept to like a dancing year's schedule because, yeah, you can't be like 110% in the studio just dancing all year long. And, so before we actually hit record on this conversation, you said how you've just been in Dublin and you went to the Flaw. And yeah, maybe that wasn't like exactly, dance training specific, but there was probably a lot of aspects that maybe inspired that, or like listening to music or just being in that environment. It's like, okay, I'm having a break from the day in, day out studio training, but like I'm still like I'm still exercising those ideas in my brain, or maybe coming up with new ideas that I didn't know, or whatever it might
Strengthening
be.
passion and
Yeah.
like getting excited about the future and all of that. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Are there
And
other things other than traveling that are good for active recovery for you?
um I love like my summer break and it's like going to the pool and hanging out with friends, like just being kind of normal for
Yeah.
a couple weeks. Um, and I would say, like, because I've been dancing so long, I've had a lot of time to experiment with different things and know what I like and what's helped me. So yeah.
Yeah, and giving yourself just time to like be a kid and have fun. I think that's some people see that as like a negative impact to their dancing, but I
Hmm.
would almost argue that it's a positive impact because like the better you feel as a person and the more you engage with, the better you are overall. And that goes to help your dancing no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just totally awesome to hear that you and I'm sure lots of other like younger dancers who are growing into this generation are just really taking charge of that and
Yeah.
making it a priority.
Yeah.
So I
And
don't
I think
know.
it's important too that we do underscore, like, yeah, most of the year you are training really hard. And so then these breaks feel really good too. Like keeping that in mind is like when those moments are like super long and whatever, like, oh, there's gonna be like it's gonna all kind of lead to this nice little break or whatever it might be. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nice to keep in mind also. So what's like the next big thing on your calendar?
So, I'm planning on going to all Scotland's, so we're gonna do that, and then the Oireachtas, and maybe the Great Britons. So it'll be nice to do both of them. Um, yeah, so
Yeah,
that'll be
that
what
sounds like
I'm working towards.
an awesome fall you have ahead. And beyond like the fall and this year and all of that, um, what do you kind of see as your future in dancing? What makes you excited when you imagine Garrett in 15, 20, 30 years? Do you always want to be in dancing and what would you like to do?
Well, for like after the Oireachtas in this year, what I want to work towards is it would be it's my goal to win the worlds again. Um, and then in the future, I want to be in Riverdance or Lord of the Dance. That would be my dream. My mom was in Lord of the Dance, and I think it would be such a special thing to be in Lord of the Dance or Riverdance.
Yeah, that's really cool. Kind of, carrying on the family legacy. That's pretty awesome. Cool. Well, it's been so awesome getting to chat with you and hear your insights and all about your experience and everything up to now. And like it's just awesome to have you on. And I'm sure so many kids hearing this are gonna be so inspired by this conversation.
Yeah, you have such wisdom for a teenager and you're incredibly talented. And we just feel so lucky to talk to you today. And like Max said, I'm sure everyone will get quite a lot out of this conversation and just enjoy getting to know you better. And we're cheering for you and all that you do and big fans. So thanks
Yeah.
for chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. I'm probably even a bigger fan of you two.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of the New View podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
If you have any ideas about future guests we should interview or want to connect, you can find us on Instagram at newview.collective or email us at newviewcollective.mm@gmail.com.